we already have our author up on stage already. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for Kubbra Sait, actor, now writer, and a winner of book prize, popular choice. She's acted in Sultan. You've of course seen her in Ready and the Sacred Games as well. And the Foundation on Apple TV. Congratulations. Well done, Kubbra. Do have your seat. Kubbra will be in conversation with Stutee Ghosh, award-winning RJ, who is here with us, film critic as well. The open book is what we are talking about. All yours.
Who would have thought I'll be the one making a grand entry when it's Kubbra who's next to me?
No, yeah, it's just that if I went down, I will be making you wait for like 3 days. So I'm overwhelmed with this love. I'm overwhelmed with the kind of support that I have received. And it's funny, like, I think when you put the right energies out there, you just receive so much back in return. And you can't even like make sense of it. And I think 90% of my life, I'm trying to make sense of what happened in the last 10% of my life.
And a lot of that is in this book.
A lot of that is
Which is very aptly titled Open Book, not a memoir. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this fantastic person right here. But before that, I want to ensure that everyone who's here, and especially sitting at the back, you guys can hear us. You feel part of this. Are the energies reaching you? Great. So Kubbra here is someone who, as we all know, lights up the screen and also lights up mundane, boring conversations with this brilliant smile that you flash. And I couldn't, honestly, keep this book down. So we generally describe books as unputdownable, but this was really one of those. And my first question to you is going to be something which a lot of people, if they haven't read the book, will ask you. And that is, you have this amazing career going for you. You still have so much that's promising that you definitely will achieve. Why a memoir now? Is it too early?
Thank you so much, first of all, Stutee, for all those wonderful words about the book and describing it, because, it means a lot when someone who's read the book says it, and I'm so grateful that you did. Well, for me, I think age is only a number. It's the experiences that you collect along the way. But sometimes your experiences also tend to become your baggage. And you don't understand how much you're carrying on your back. And being someone who's practically learnt from life, like for example, I climb mountains. And I know I only take the essentials. So for me, I think Open Book, not quite a memoir, was dropping the baggage, but carrying the learnings forward. Yeah. And the learnings for me were much lighter than all these stories and journeys and everything else that had happened to me. And as I said, while I was receiving the award, which is such a moment of honor for me, I honestly felt the day I had, pressed that send button, I felt I had entered a new version of myself. So it was Kubbra 2.0. And it's so amazing, right? Like as human beings, we're so excited about a new software update on the phone. Right? We want to know what's happening, what's new, what's exciting. But when it comes to ourselves, we're so comfortable, we're so complacent with what life has given to us that we choose not to move forward. And I use the word choose quite wisely because I think everything in life is a choice. So writing this book was a choice. Leaving this city was a choice. Leaving my job was a choice. Leaving anchoring was a choice. Everything is a choice. And then most people go like, oh, but you're a jack of all trades. तो कुछ नहीं करता है life में, सब कुछ करता है life में, types, So I think there is a certain chasm to actually do a lot of things. Because for me, I can tell you why I wanted to become an actor, because I did not want to work in a corporate setup.
Yeah.
So I know what that felt like. So I know what it feels like to do something on your own. I knew what it felt like to be an anchor, so I wanted to be a storyteller. I knew what it was like to tell an account of your stories. So the more I shared, the more I felt I evolved from within. And I think the one purpose that we all are looking for, what is the purpose of being sent on this earth? Yeah. I think more than discovering what you can do for other people, for me, I think it is what you can do for yourself. What is it that you can leave behind as a learning through your own life? Because trust me, every life makes a difference. And if your life is making a difference to yourself, trust me, you're making a difference to other people's lives. And you have to give yourself that much credit. You owe that to yourself, and in turn, you owe that to the rest of the society that you live in.
How beautifully put. You know, I want to tell you, you spoke about Kubbra 2.0, and that gets me the segue to the question that I wanted to ask you, because you kind of referred to it in the book. This B that you add to Kubbra, you're now Kubbra, which is a Kubbra with a double B. What's the story behind that? That's the new updated version.
Yeah, that is a part of my journey, right? So it was 2016, and most people would be shy to talk about this. They're like, "Kya? तुम इतना ऐसा amazing बात करता है, science ये वो पढ़ता है," and then you're like, numerology? And I was like, no, what is the harm? And why should one shy away from trying something that probably is going to help you? So, for example, it was my friend Gautam. Now he's a friend. But when he actually advised me to change my name, he had never even met me. But he said, your name is your identity. No matter how many people are in this room, if somebody calls you by your name, you will be the one to turn. So your name has vibrations. Numbers have that energy. So your name, your life, and your numbers do not have the same vibration. So what if we did something to balance that out? And I said, yeah, cool. So what if it doesn't work? And he said, what if it does? Yeah. So give it a shot. And there you go. I was just taking a leap of faith like I had done with many other aspects of my life. And today I kind of go like, X, if there isn't that double B. I think that's how easy it is for you to change how you think. It's that easy for you to change what you believe in. It's what you attach your values to. And for me, whether it's numerology or whether it is the work that I do, at the end of the day, if your heart, your mind, and your actions are all aligned, then I think you are unstoppable. And that's what's happened. So whether it is numerology or whether it is just the fact that I knew that something's going to work, you know, like, you just carry something with you called faith. And I've written that, like, the faith takes you an extra mile. That's actually a chapter in my book. And I am someone who has a lot of faith in doing your best and leaving the universe to do the rest. That is who I am as a human being. And if it is numerology, then bravo. If it is, you know, a book, great. If it is a job that I did, then wonderful. But always put in your best. Don't settle. Don't try to compromise in what you do. And I think if you're doing that, then you are choosing what's right for you in that moment. And that, for me, is Kubbra 2.0.
Super cool. You know, I don't know how many people would have told you this, but when I was reading this book, I was obviously reading it, but reading it in your voice. I just felt like Kubbra is reading it out to me. And the one line or the one scene, if I can say, which was very visual for me, which totally describes you. And like you say, do your best and then leave it to the universe, is that scene when you're describing where your mother wants to change your school and your parents are discussing amongst themselves ki seat nahi hai, there's no seat, and little Kubbra goes, main seat leke jaun. And I thought that is also the adult Kubbra who will say, main seat leke jati hu. Like, I'll do what it takes to, you know, be where I'm supposed to. The fact that you chose to write this book and completely, you know, let all of us into your journey, your story, to understand where this energy, this passion comes from, would have given you a different perspective, because when you put pen to paper, when you write something down, you also kind of distance yourself from the experience. It gives you a different perspective. Did that happen to you?
Well, on many occasions, yes. But on several occasions, it was me trying to find out the truth. So even when I write about, like, you know, the opening, the page to the rest of the book, I speak about the accounts in this book, the experiences in this book, as my truth. You know, when I speak about my journey, I know that I have so many more human beings, so many more souls who have touched my life to become the person that I am today. I cannot take away anything from their efforts, from the value that they added to me. But at the same time, I was very conscious, I was using my conscious state to not put them on a pedestal and make them heroes, but I also was quite sure that I didn't want to make them villains of my life. Because what happened, happened. There was also a need for me to know who I am in the process of discovering who I was speaking of. So I wanted to actually, you know, open up the layers and find out, what did my father mean to me? Who was he to me? Why did I distance myself from him for so many years? Who is my mom to me? Why is she, like, I think the last line, I say she is my greatest strength and she's my biggest cross to bear. Because I love her so much, and there is nobody in this room, in this audience, or in my extended universe who doesn't recognize that or isn't coherent of the fact that she is one of my greatest champions. She's here tonight, so thank you very much, Ma. And
yeah, a huge round of applause for her.
thank you. You know, she wasn't able to make it when we launched the book in Mumbai. And I remember that Vidya Balan, who was there, and she was like launching the book for me in Mumbai. She said that chapter moved me the most. And she actually looked out for you that day in the audience. And I think there's so much honesty that goes into discovering yourself. And if in that one moment you choose to take the shortcut, then I don't think this book would resonate with me or with anyone else. I think it's really important for you to embrace your reality. That acceptance needs to happen. If you want to make a change, a true change in your life, accept what's right, accept what's wrong. If you can't accept it, then forget about the change. Then you're only going to be living by some self-help book that you've read, because you need to understand and accept that, okay, I am doing this, and this isn't serving me. And now that conversation can be a very hard conversation to have, but it is a conversation that you must have with yourself.
You know, Kubbra, listening to you right now, it's inspiring, it's moving. It'll give a lot of people hope if they read the book and understand the journey that you've gone through. But there's another side to it, which is, how did she do it? You know, because people in your profession are so conscious. They have whole teams to just take care of their perception of how they are viewed, how they're perceived, how much to let in, let out. And for someone who's in that profession and you want to continue, you want to succeed, you were very brave to do this. And when I said this to you, you said, I don't like this word brave. Why are you calling me brave? So I want you to, I loved what you told me, and I want you to speak to our audience here today and tell them why you hate this tag.
So first of all, hate is a very strong word. I'd much rather say I strongly dislike.
Dislike.
I strongly dislike. Don't say hate, okay? That's one thing that I choose. Because as Stutee and I were speaking earlier, I told Stutee that, you know, we've forgotten that communication is a tool. We've started taking easy ways around it. So I think the minute you realize that communication is a tool, and when you actually understand how to use the tool, you're helping your mind make sense of the conundrum that exists around you. And there is a lot of conundrum, I'll tell you that. You get into, you want to leave your house, you have like 6 things that you want to pick up, you want to get out of your house, you've got 10 buttons to press. Then you want to remember the person you need to call, then you need to know where you parked your car in a mall, then you want to grab that car, then you want to deal with, like, you know, the absolute chaotic traffic on the road, then a cow will come, and there is conundrum, right, around you. That is the reality of life in the most basic sense. But I feel that when we communicate well, when we use it as a tool, we enhance our life and the experiences that come along with it. So for example, we just use this tag called brave. But this is not brave, this is honest. For me, this is cathartic. For me, writing this story was, how can I help myself, as selfish as that may sound? Only when it came out, I realized that, oh wow, I was not the only one who went through an abortion. I'm not the only one who was abused. I was not the only one who came from a dysfunctional family. There are so many of us. And I thought that it was really important to put that out there. For me, brave is a word that I would probably associate with the soldiers in our country who are protecting our, our boundaries, who are keeping us safe. Those who keep us safe are brave. But when we are trying to figure ourselves out, that's not brave. I remember when Sacred Games released, I remember getting a lot of Thank you.
Just the mention gets you the applause.
Like when I played the character of Cuckoo and I was just having a conversation with, I think, Nandita, and she said, oh, for a long time I didn't know if you were a man or a woman. And I said, yes, it's true, because one of the top Google searches says Kubbra Sait gender.
Yeah. That's how good you were.
And thanks. And then people said, oh, but you're so brave. And I said, brave? I was only accounting the story of a character that needed to be told. I was nothing but a cog in the wheel. That's not being brave. That's me doing my job. My job is to act. Writing this book was taking in the role of being an author. That's my job. And if I do that with a relative amount of honesty, with care, not to hurt anyone, then I think I'm not being brave at all. So if you are doing your responsibility and if you're doing it with sincerity, trust me, this brave nonsense word is something that I strongly dislike.
Do you like the word bold? I was just trying my luck there. Okay.
Yes, I am bold. And very soon I will be bald.
No, okay, now coming back to this book, and I'm going to treat this like I treat a film. Like when we review, we don't let out the meaty best bits, because if you haven't read the book, I'd want you to pick it up and read it.
Can I tell you, like, honest thing, I've forgotten what are half the things in this book.
You might have, but we want them to.
Yeah, but please read it. I have forgotten. Remind me, okay, please.
So there are portions which are extremely personal, like you said, about the abortion or about the abuse that you faced as a child. How tough was it to write those? Just as a writer, putting those thoughts down, revisiting those in your head, were those portions the toughest to pen down?
So thankfully, since I am a first-time author, I didn't follow the rule book. So I never said that, oh, today I am author, now I have to write 1,000 words a day. Cannot. Did not. And I also, for me, felt should not, because then it would not be authentic. But as I was speaking with you earlier, the minute the journey had started to unravel itself, I started having vivid dreams about what I wanted to say. And the minute I started saying these things, and I would wake up in the morning, I would just run to my laptop, and I'm this person who likes doing fun things, okay? With everything. So I got myself like a new app to write the book. And I paid some premium amount on it. And then I got myself new stationery. And I made it very colorful and very happy and exciting. So no story really felt so dreary. Also, I need to know, and I need to tell you that what just is happening right now is already the past. So imagine I'm talking about something that happened to me 10 years ago. That is a wildly like past of mine, right? And I feel like if you are holding on to what you believe in without wanting to make a change, or if you don't want to look at it as to how did you turn out of that experience, then you will constantly be in that cycle of why me, how only me, oh, this happened, that. So yes, bad things happen to good people, guys. And I know when it's happening to you, you're looking at yourself going like, why me? And it's not easy to be in that situation. But trust me, you will swim through. I am someone who didn't know how to swim till I was 30 years old. You know why? Because my mom said कि वो बड़ा swimming pool है नहीं बेटा, वहाँ गए तो सब सुसु करते हैं, उसमें नहीं जाना swimming. That's why she didn't send me to a swimming pool, guys. So when I became 30, I said, I will do this for myself because I don't know what it means to, I don't know, get a rash. So let's go and try swimming. Today, I dive in deep oceans. I discover the ocean and I love it, right? So I feel that the world will tell you things from their perspective. But if you want to know what an experience means to you, you need to try it for yourself. You need to know that you are the owner of your life. You are in the driver's seat. Nobody else is. And if you keep doing that, slowly but surely, you'll start discovering meaning behind the things that you do. But as I said, there needs to be sincerity and honesty in that. It can't be like, oh, I want to do it because I'm a rebel. I want to fight the odds. I want to prove you wrong. This is not about that. And I find myself like I grew up in a very protective family. So if I wanted to do something, it would be considered to be a rebel. But I feel if you stand up to the occasion with responsibility, the ones who are trying to watch out for you will actually show you the light.
And Kubbra, in this book, I mean, as much as it's your story, your perspective, and you making sense of all that you've gone through, you've written about people in your life who've read this. And what has their reaction been? I particularly want to know what your mother and your dad would say about this.
So, like every family, we've gone through our ups and downs and shaky moments, and we've been on really thin ice. And I was very sure of what I had felt while writing. So I knew it didn't come from a place of maligning anyone or trying to prove a point to anyone. It was none of that. It came from a purity that, people say the older you grow, even as an actor, they say that the hardest emotion to recreate is innocence. Because once you know something, you can't unknow that something. So innocence is and when I was writing this book, it came from innocence for me. So let me start with my mom. And she called me and she said, I only have one question for you. Have you healed?
How beautiful.
And it was the first time that I think I wept tears of joy after this book had come out. Before that, I was like, bestseller banayenge types. Banayenge, please, huh? Huh? But when my mom asked me, have you healed? And I was so confident to quip yes. I felt it was done. It was finished. Now, my father, on the other hand, had forgotten the memories that I had. So when he called me to, speak with tears in his eyes. And he said, you reminded me of the times I had forgotten that I had spent with you. And for me, that was an honor to give this man the space and the credit that he deserves to be my father. We're very hard on people. I'll tell you this. If someone did something to you that did not blend or match up to your perspective, you tend to discard them very easily. But I think there is humanity in everyone, and they may not match you and what you're thinking and what you're going through at that particular moment. But trust me, everybody has a journey. Everybody comes from a certain place of history, and everybody is responsible for their actions. So you don't be quick to judge them based on your experiences. Allow them to be, accept them for who they are, because man, you cannot go around change. You did not choose your parents. You cannot change your parents.
That's such a moving thing that you said. I think that touched me. Can we open it up to all of you? Are you guys ready? Do we have questions?
Oh, those were questions. Sorry. I thought you all from Teer series. I thought I have lawsuit tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. You want to ask a question?
Hi. I can hear you. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
What an energetic evening. My last session today. And my question to you is, do you see yourself in the future, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? If yes, what are your thoughts? How do
I choose to live till I'm 120, ma'am, if I could. So what, 5, 10 years, ma'am? We'll talk in the next, how many years? I'm 40 now, no? So my math is really bad. My wealth created, how many years, sir?
No need of any math. It's the...
Another 80 years, ma'am. What, 5, 10 years, ma'am? 80 years we'll
In the
live.
next 20, we'll have another sort of memoir and then...
Yeah, this is not quite a memoir. Next one will be open book, something like a memoir. Then we'll write open book. I think it's a memoir. We'll figure it out. But I think your stories are valuable. And for me, like we were speaking about this, and ma'am, to be able to write this book, it was not just an internal journey, it was also a lot of external help that I had to take. So like for me, I did go through years of therapy, and I'm very, very proud of it because I went with a muddle of emotions. I didn't know how I felt about situations, about people, about things that had happened to me. And then you have someone who can help you like roll it out and create a clearer bundle for you. And once you sort that out, you kind of invite youth back into your life. And the more youthful and the more free you feel, yeah, you can choose like to see yourself in the next 5, 10, 80 years, yeah.
And young at 120.
Young at 120, yes. I think I'll move to Japan.
Do we have other questions? Okay, we have a lady there, third row. Yes, but they can't.
Thank you for your question.
Good evening, Kubbra. So my question to you is, you described yourself as a fun person, which you rightly are. Your energy is just so contagious and, you know, it's just so much of fun. My question to you is, was that innate to you or is that something you worked on? Because I get defined as a very, you know, I take life seriously, I guess. Like, I have a lot of, you know, anxiety issues because I take things seriously. Like, I'm always thinking, you know, what's going to happen in the future. I overthink. So I want to become a fun person, you know, have that fun energy. So how do you do that?
So I think when you take yourself too seriously, which you described yourself to be, as I said, you need to ask yourself if it's serving you and the goals that you want to achieve. If it isn't, then try to make small shifts. So like, for example, we were speaking about this, about using words as a tool. When the pandemic started, I started saying, oh, I worry about this, and I worry about that, and I worry about this. And one of my dearest friends, who's now going to be a published author as well, I'm so proud of him. His name is Ashton Doctor. I recommend his podcast to you. It's called The Habit Coach. I recommend it to all of you, actually. You will find answers about changing the little things that bother you. And I remember him telling me, when you use the word worry, you don't attach a certain conclusion or action to what you can do to fix it. So instead of using the word worry, use the word concern. And when you use the word concern, you know you want to do something about it. So I feel that we can choose to live our life the way we want to, right? And you should choose to live the way you want to. But if you feel it's bothering you, if you feel it's distressing you, if you feel it's making you anxious, start taking those little changes within yourself. Look around you and see what are your patterns that you follow and what would you like to turn around. And you have to do that by yourself. I remember being bullied in school, and I was a shutdown person. And then we were speaking about...
And you've written that in the book, from being a kid who's bullied to
actually dealing with bullies. Yeah. And I remember I went to this event, and this person turned around and threw a glass of champagne on my back. I would have been intimidated at that point of time because I came from a scarred background. You know, I was told I was not good enough. I was bullied from a very young age. I was bullied from like my 4th grade, when you don't even know you are being bullied. You don't even have the language to help you say that, oh, mom, I'm being bullied. You just don't want to deal with it. So I remember coming back and throwing my bag and saying, I will never go to school again. But I remember when this glass of champagne was thrown at me, I knew I had to stand up for myself and not bow down to the bully. So I turned around, I said, the next time you try a stunt like this, I will break this glass and shove it up your you-know-where. And I think it's really important. Thank you, guys. That was wise, wasn't it? Like, shove it up your, like, clap, clap, clap. So, no, but I'm saying that if something is bothering you, you need to make the change. If something that is working for you, you need to get better at it. And you will, by only being aware of who you are. Like for me right now, my breath is something that keeps me aware. I know I used to use a random thing saying, oh, I am short-tempered. It's not something that I should be wearing with pride. It should not be a crutch that I use to justify my stupidity that hurts me and other people. If it is short temper, where does it stem from? How does it affect me, my breath, and someone else in the room? And if I'm hurting someone, don't do it. I think we've also got this whole drama around what love is. I think love is just not love. Love is this umbrella that has a lot of things in it. And one of the fundamentals of love is care. If you care enough for a situation, a person, or a project, you will not hurt them or yourself. Be cognizant. In your case, if you love yourself, then you won't hurt yourself.
That's beautiful. Guys, we've completely run out of time, but I want to tell you, we love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your truth, your journey with us.
Thank you.
Today, here on stage and through this book.
I love you, Stutee.
You win
Thank
people
you.
over, you win hearts. We're all Team Kubbra, aren't we?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Let's give them a bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Kubbra Sait and Stutee Ghosh.